Jerry Lane, a former UN employee, wakes up with his wife Karen and his two kids, Rachel and Constance, for a family meal. Jerry informs Constance, the youngest daughter, that he has resigned from his work in order to spend more time with the family. On the news, there is talk of civil unrest and martial law. Later, they are stuck in heavy traffic in Philadelphia, as the city is besieged by a swarm of zombies. These attackers move incredibly quickly, biting individuals and turning the bitten very quickly. During the frantic stampede, Jerry sees that it takes around 12 seconds for a bitten individual to transform. As the turmoil escalates, the Lanes flee the city in a stolen RV. They stop in Newark, New Jersey at a huge food store, where Karen stockpiles whatever food she can find, and Jerry is able to get medication for his eldest daughter, Rachel, who is suffering from a major asthma attack as a result of the shock and stress of what happened to them. Looters assault his wife. Jerry kills one of them, and Karen is released. For a brief minute, it appears that a police officer is about to arrest Jerry, despite the fact that he is holding the rifle above his head. But the officer is only looking for supplies. Outside the store, the family seeks sanctuary in a Newark apartment building. Deputy Secretary General Thierry Umutoni, an old friend of Jerry's, phones and informs the family that he is dispatching a helicopter to rescue them, but that it would not arrive until the next morning. The Lanes had taken up residence in a modest flat with a Latino family. One of the kids, Tomas, knows English and interprets for the Lanes. Jerry, certain that the only way to survive is to keep traveling, is unable to persuade Thomas's family to accompany them. The Lanes crawl through the mainly abandoned tenement the next morning, hoping to locate the roof, but the undead notice them and chase them to the top. On the way, they come upon Tomas. When multiple zombies attack Jerry, they spit blood on him. Jerry walks up to the edge of the roof, ready to jump if the blood on his face causes him to turn. He doesn't, and the family boards the chopper and flees after repelling another swarm of the undead. The chopper transports the Lanes and a large group of other evacuees to a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier off the coast of New York City. On board, there is a team of scientists and military personnel are analyzing the scope of the worldwide outbreak. Thierry is waiting there for them and fixes them up with bunks. Dr. Andrew Fassbach, a virologist, believes that the plague is a virus that must be identified in order for a vaccine to be created. Jerry is charged with assisting Fassbach in locating the source of the epidemic due to his experience as a former UN investigator. Jerry grudgingly agrees to assist after receiving assurances that his family would be secure, and is flown to Camp Humphreys, a military installation in South Korea, where an email was received around 11 days before stating that the epidemic may have begun there. Jerry's crew gets assaulted by zombies shortly after arriving at the base. Fassbach, terrified and cowardly, is murdered after accidentally shooting himself after slipping on the C-130 plane's ramp. The gunshot wakes up the undead in the vicinity, causing Jerry and his team to flee. Jerry discovers that the zombies are drawn to noise after being rescued by the base's remaining employees. The troops at the base, led by Captain Speak, explain that a Korean soldier was doing research in the field when he was assaulted and transformed. His conversion took far longer than what had previously been observed. The diseased man's body assaulted the base doctor, and both were burned. Speak tells Jerry how one of his men was able to stand in the middle of the infected people and not be attacked. Jerry asks the soldier, who walks with a slight limp, how he injured his leg. The soldier tells him something's been bothering him lately. Jerry meets with Hafner, an ex-CIA agent who was jailed for supplying guns to North Korea. He tells Jerry a horrifying story of how the North Korean authorities was able to limit the spread in their nation by extracting the teeth of every resident within a 24-hour period, preventing infecting each other through bites. Hafner instructs Jerry to travel to Jerusalem, where the Israeli Mossad had prepared a safe zone immediately before the epidemic was officially recognized, hinting that Israel may have had foreknowledge of what was to occur. Speak's soldiers ride in a fleet of bicycles to avoid making any noise while refueling the C-130 and boarding Jerry. Jerry's satellite phone goes off when Karen tries to call him and the undead attack. The plane is refueled successfully, and Jerry and the C-130 pilot manage to escape. Jerry visits Mossad commander Jürgen Warmbrunn in Jerusalem, who says that the Mossad intercepted messages from an army general in India months before, claiming that Indian forces were fighting the Rakshasa, or dead spirits. Warmbrunn also tells how the core of Jerusalem was walled off. The wall is imposing, at least 50 feet high, and refugees, including non-Jews and Muslims, are being taken into the quarantine zone. While Jerry is speaking with Jürgen, a group of Muslim immigrants began to sing joyfully about having found a safe haven to live in. One of the women locates a microphone. Interested in singing, the zombies outside begin to climb the protective wall, forming a massive pile that eventually succeeds in entering the city. While fleeing, Jerry notices that an old man and an emaciated boy are ignored by the zombies. A young Israeli woman soldier, Sagan, Jerry's escort, is bitten by a zombie. Jerry quickly amputates her hand to stop the spread of the infection, counting to 12 until he's sure that she won't turn. Jerry and Sagan eventually make it to the airport and manage to board a Belarus Airways airliner after Jerry's pilot panics and flies away. When Jerry contacts Theory, he requests the location of the nearest WHO or CDC type lab, and they are sent to a WHO research center in Cardiff, Wales. A stowaway zombie gets unleashed from the cargo hold and attacks a flight attendant while the plane is in the air. She assaults the other passengers. Jerry detonates a grenade to kill the zombies, and the jet crashes near Cardiff. Sagan and Jerry continue as the only visible survivors of the disaster, albeit Jerry has been stabbed by a piece of metal. Sagan locates him, and the two proceed to Cardiff to the WHO facility. Due of his lack of communication, the US Navy concludes he is dead and deports his family to Nova Scotia. Jerry drops out at the facility's entrance and awakens 3 days later tied to a gurney, his wound healed and bandaged. He is able to persuade the facility's employees that he is there on a specific purpose. The guys watching him dial his wife's satellite phone. When Theory answers the phone, he informs Jerry that his family has been designated as non-essential individuals and has been transported to a land-based institution. Jerry is unhappy, but Theory is able to prove Jerry's identity to the skeptical WHO personnel. Jerry reveals to the skeptical scientists that because the old man and the sickly boy in Jerusalem were ignored, along with a homeless wino Jerry briefly witnessed in Newark who was bypassed by the zombies, and the story the soldier with a limp told about the zombies ignoring him, the infected do not bite seriously injured or terminally ill people, because they would be unsuitable as hosts for viral reproduction. He offers to inject himself with a fatal but curable infection to test his theory. However, after a doctor accidentally infected himself, the wing of the facility where the germs are held was overrun by zombies. Regardless, Jerry decides to obtain a pathogen, while Sagan and one of the WHO doctors follow him for backup. They fight their way through the zombies, and Jerry finally gets to the pathogen vault. Jerry loads a small box containing pathogen vials from 2 different cupboards. The scientists are filming him, and note that the left cabinet contains lethal and incurable illnesses. Jerry is about to depart when he notices one of the zombie physicians outside. He decides to inject himself to determine if his idea would work when he is cornered, and without a proper weapon. He hands the scientists a message that reads, "Tell my family I love them," and selects a vial at random from the box. Jerry waits a few moments before opening the vault door. Jerry is allowed to go away through the army of zombies that has infected the facility, since the former doctor ignores him. When he returns to the secure area of the institution, everyone rejoices at the success of his idea, and the physicians cure him of the infection. Jerry returns to his family in Freeport, Nova Scotia, in a safe zone. A vaccine made from lethal infections is produced to serve as camouflage for troops fighting the afflicted. Airdrops are used to spread the virus over the planet. Human offensives against the zombies begin, restoring hope. And this is the end of the video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and support us with like and suggest a movie you would like to recap it.